Hey everybody, I'm Zafir and welcome back to No Love Lost 2.0. So today, this episode is called Dear Friend. So let's talk about it. So a lot of the times we meet people in our lives and we think the best of them, and we think because they're our friends that they equal up to people a standard sometimes that we set them up to. So I stopped believing in calling people my best friend quite a long time ago. I do have best friends. Don't get it twisted. And that is Moses and Sam. But I do consider people like brothers and sisters to me that I'm real close to, right? But there's people who have come into my life and unfortunately they started calling me, and I say unfortunate because sometimes these individuals have become obsessive or emotionally overly dependent on me. And it's just been like, ooh, that's too much. Like, ew, back up a little bit. And when it feels like that, when I feel like I'm being suffocated by somebody, I don't want to feel like I'm being suffocated by my friend. I want to always support them and make sure that they reach their full potential. And if they need guidance along the way, they can give me the same and I can give them the same. But unfortunately, sometimes what happens is people overdo it. I met this friend at a job when I first moved down south, like about 2 years ago. We were real cool. Like soon as I met them, I was a little confused about what their situation was. But ultimately he ended up being a trans man. We really became real close. We started hanging out, chilling, all that. I introduced them to my partner. They introduced me to their family. We went on vacation together. They came to my partner's birthday. We went to something they had that was far away. We drove to, even though I left the same day because I got too lit and I had to get up out of there. But ultimately, this person was not a bad person. They were a good friend to me. They always treated me with respect. But then they stopped doing that because then they became controlling. And then they started acting like, I was like, damn, are we in a relationship? Like, cause I got a partner. Why you want me so hard? Like they would be so hard on me, like, oh, why are you talking to that person? Why are you friends with that person? Sometimes I think people need to realize being a friend do not mean you have control over me. That does not mean that you dictate how I move or what I do. I have so many examples and stories of people I know who are going through this right now, where people will use the friendship as a weapon to get what they want, not realizing that the more that you push something that is not uh being received on the other end, what's going to happen is it's going to make you lose somebody. So we really have to start telling people how we feel. And unfortunately, I could say I played a role in not saying how I felt. So ultimately, we worked at this job together and I became friends with my co-host that I co-host the podcast with, No Love Lost, Mario. I became friends with him. Mario is known at the job for fucking all the bitches. But that's not true. That's really not the man that he is. But everybody thinks because of who he is that he fuck everybody, right? But that's not real facts. I used to even think that about him when I didn't know him because I used to be like, oh, damn, that nigga a hoe. But after getting to know him, I realized, yo, he was real cool. He was a cool dude, and he wasn't actually a hoe. He was just a real cool person that would communicate with other people. He was from New York. I'm from New York, and you already know. New Yorkers, when we see each other and we live in different states, we got to be like, yeah. So, and then the guy who was calling me his best friend at the time, he was from New York too. So I'm like, yo, we all from New York. Yo, we all could be cool. But the guy that was my friend, I'll just call him Harlem. Harlem would be like, nah, why you trying to be cool with Mario? I don't want you being cool with him. Like that dude, he funny. He funny. He fake. And I used to be like, well, what was fake about him? What did he do? And he never could give me like a clear view or an answer. And even at one point, he told me like, oh, he don't like people who are homosexual. So I was like, oh, word? It's like that. Like I didn't know him though. So, but I'm believing him low key because we mad close. We started talking from the beginning when I first started here. They started like, I think like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after me at this job. And I'm like listening to them because they come to my house. They meet my family, my sisters, and back and forth. So it got to a point where later down the line, like me and Mario got cool. He become my bro. He started coming up to me at work, telling me things that he go through and vice versa. And ultimately Harlem was like, I don't really like that. I don't like that you getting cool with that dude. You know that I don't like that nigga. And I was like, yo, bro, he's mad cool. Just chill. Like, get to know him. He from New York. You know, we all can vibe out. Honestly, they were similar in ways, but ultimately they never got to rock out because ultimately what happened was, I think, oh yeah, I remember Mario ended up talking to a female in the cafeteria at the job, and he ended up, dog walking her vagina. So, but mind you, this happened when the female first just started at the job, and basically later on down the line, Harlem, my friend at the time that was calling me his best friend, he liked that girl. He got to know her. He got her number. They started dating, and basically, the young lady that was dating Harlem told him like, yo, I gotta tell you something. I mess with like one person at this job and his name is Mario. That set Harlem the fuck off. Like Harlem was mad. Like, oh, of all niggas, it had to be him. You don't respect yourself. That's what he said to the girl. And I was like, how you mean she don't respect herself? She had a good time. She got her shit off. What's the problem? And he was like, oh, because of all niggas, why she had to mess with him. And I used to be like, yo, why you be hating on him? Like, why do you care about what he do? That's not your friend. That's not your people. You don't like him for no reason. But I used to think negatively of him, through things I heard before I got to know him. That was the immature side of me, because I always feel like you have to really get to know people on your own, even if it's somebody that like somebody and another person don't like them and they tell you all these negative things about them. So basically, ultimately, Harlem confronted Mario like, oh, I don't want you talking to my girl no more. And Mario said, well, if she talked to me, what am I supposed to do? Not say nothing back. And petty, Scorpio gang, you already know, petty side. That's not cool. We grew up from that. But basically, he said, so if she say hi to me, I'm not supposed to say nothing back. Just playing on the intelligence of words. That's pretty much what it was about. And ultimately, what happened was, Harlem was like, yo, I'll punch you on your shit right now. And Mario looked at him like, huh? And I just stepped back because I said, listen, I'm one of those people where I used to break up fights back in the day. I learned my lesson when I got my ass hit in the middle of breaking up a fight. And I was like, nah, never again, because now I want to fight everybody. Right? So I backed up like, yo, this shit ain't got nothing to do with my dick ain't in this. I ain't fucking, but basically Harlem got mad at me like, oh, why you friends with that nigga? I feel like you be talking about me to him. I'll be like, how do you figure I be talking about you, bro? That man don't speak on you at all. Right? So this is why this episode is called Dear Friend, is because people that become your friends have to realize that you are your own individual. And now don't get it fucked up. If somebody's just straight off your enemy, they came at you, y'all done fought before, or y'all done had issues before, and I'm your friend, I'm not a person that's gonna try to go out my way to befriend them. No. But y'all niggas know each other as much as me and you know each other almost. Yes, I was hanging out with you more, Harlem, but at the same time, I had no problems with you. We had no beef. I let you even drive my brand new 2024 car at the time. So, and everybody know, I don't let nobody drive my car unless it's my dude. That's the only person that can drive my car. I really don't like people driving my stuff. So ultimately, me and Harlem stopped being friends because Harlem was like, yo, where he live at, I'ma shoot his house up. I'm gonna beat him the fuck up. And I was like, whoa, hold on, player. Like, you going too far. It's not that deep. Like, yeah, he fucked that girl, but he fucked that girl like a minute ago. You know what I mean? Like, he been fucked that girl. So why are you mad at him? Like, it could have been any other nigga in this motherfucker that fucked up. He said, yeah, but it's him. So it's me or him. You got to stop being friends with him if we going to be friends. And I say, yo, bro, what do you mean? Like, you're not my dad. You're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do. And that's where I feel like sometimes people don't realize that even when your friend asks you for advice, you cannot sit up here and tell them, oh, you have to do this in X, Y, Z. You can't tell somebody and dictate how they live their life and how they move with people. You have to remember everybody is an individual. And yes, you can get in your emotions, but as a man, you need to also throw it back and get into that logic. Because logic really saves you from emotional burnouts. And popping off and showing your ass. And too often people will sit here and embarrass themselves all over a situation that logically, if it was thought out, you would have never put yourself in that situation to feel some type of way. But he did. He wanted to fight him. He wanted to shoot his house up. I was like, yo, he got a kid. Like, his kid be there. What's wrong with you? Like, he's cool. That's my friend. Like, I'm cool with him. And he was like, oh, no, nah, you can't be his friend. I feel like that's some fake shit you doing. So he stopped talking to me, and he felt some type of way because I wouldn't stop being friends with Mario. And I'm like, ultimately, that was childish, real immature. And ultimately, the reason why I didn't stop being friends with Mario is because he wasn't acting like that. He never spoke on this person. He never was given the energy that he even felt like he wanted to talk about them in any type of negative way. You know, he was a cool dude. So we was already cool. So ultimately, Harlem stopped talking to me. Harlem and the girl started talking shit like, oh, like, I don't even know why you friends with him. I guess the girl got in Harlem's head, or Harlem made that decision not to fuck with me no more. But I said it's no love lost, because at the end of the day, you being crazy right now. You talking about shooting up a man's house because of a bitch he fucked like before she ever met you? Are they fucking now? No, they not fucking now. So it was like, why would you get upset to the point where you lose a good friend like me, and then you sit up here, leave your job, and go back to New York and go back to Harlem into your 1-bedroom apartment? And I'm not shading the 1-bedroom apartment. What I'm saying is, you literally had a plan to come down to where we lived at and get your shit together and get your mind right, save your money, stack your money, handle your business. Now, mind you, this friend Harlem shot their best friend back before they moved to where we live in the South. And I'm not speaking on the subject to discredit what happened to them, because I can't tell the full story because I don't know the full story. I know the full story, but I don't remember it too well. But I know the story was like Harlem was in a situation where two people was threatening them, and they tried to back them in the corner, and they had to do what they had to do. And they shot their best friend in the foot or in the leg or something like that. And they had an open case while all of this is going on. This happened during the pandemic in Georgia. So whatever the case may be, the best friend ended up getting killed our first year at this job where we live now. They end up getting murdered, shot the fuck up. Like, and it's crazy because I'm like, damn, you shot them? And then like a year later, they got shot up and murdered, like in a car. That's crazy. And that's not to speak on the situation with no disrespect. Like, that's just sad. But anyway, Harlem was my road dog. I messed with him, birthday parties, all of that. He was my go-to friend to have a good time, get lit, right? You know, go out, have fun. And ultimately, like, we stopped being friends because of, I guess, Mario, but not for me. I feel like we stopped being friends because they became controlling and thinking that they could tell me what to do and how to move, and that our relationship was something that it wasn't. You know, people too often want to call people their best friend, but don't even know nothing about them or don't know them enough. I even told them, like, yo, don't call me your best friend yet. Like, get to know me, because I may do shit that you don't like or do shit that you don't agree with. Hence, the situation that happened with Mario. I'm not going to stop being friends with somebody that did nothing to me. Like I said, granted, if a situation already transpired before I even knew the person, I'm not going out my way to engage with them. But that's not the situation. You just did not like this person because a lot of females have found that my co-host attractive. So, ultimately, he set up here, he apologized to me, but we are not friends, even currently to this day. And I did feel bad about it. Like, I won't lie, I did feel bad about it because, like I said, other than that little controlling part, not that little, that was controlling, that was bad. And his temper, you know, he had a lot of maturing to do. I think that he is a great person. And as soon as he matures and allows himself to realize that everything doesn't need a response, even when you're emotional, he thinks too much with his emotion and not with logic. And I feel like that's what plays into play with why certain things were an issue in his life with his temper. So I was like, damn, I low key like would have been like your brother one day. Like, he was like a brother to me. And I feel like we could have got there. But when he started acting crazy and trying to dictate what I do, I'm like, yo, bro, we not fucking, we bros. You a trans man, you a hetero man, I'm a gay man. We are not the same. So ultimately, we stopped being friends, but I kept thinking about, like, damn, nigga, like, Now, I don't need you to try to shoot me. Like, and I'm not even being funny. Like, I think about that. Like, you shot your best friend that was your best friend for like a long time. I only met you maybe a year and a half ago, and you this mad at me. Like, you feel like I'm talking shit about you because I'm friends with somebody, and I'm not. I really feel like people have to remember that you do not control what anybody does in life. That's even your husband or your wife or your friend or your sister or your mother. People are going to do what they want. They're going to find a way and they're going to execute it. Even if you never know about it. There's things that you'll never know about somebody you call your best friend that they're going to move. And it sometimes has just nothing to do with you. That's just how they move. And like I have a best friend. I've been friends with Sam for over 16 years now. I've been friends with Moses over 5 years now. Those are my brothers. Those are my best friends. But it ends there when it comes to that word. You know what I mean? It's the two of them and then that's it. There are people like my friend Jasmine that I have confidants in, and my friend Moses, not Moses, Mario. And Mario, he's like a brother to me. He's like a little brother, He's like a little Chihuahua, a little Yorkie, and I'm big dog. So ultimately, what you got to remember is do not try to control people that you call your friend. Allow people to be themselves. If it authentically doesn't work for what you're looking to do in life, remove yourself. Too many times people get stuck up on being friends with people that they really don't understand or don't even try to understand. One thing about it is I knew if I ever had to call Harlem, he would be there for me at that time, not now. At that time, I knew he was a rider. He always had my back. I do miss the friendship at times. I won't ever lie about that. But I do also realize that we were at different places in life, and that's okay. There's a maturity level that I'm on that I don't allow my emotion to take over, where it leads me to situations where possibly I could either lose my life or end up in a situation where I'm behind bars. And I think too many times people think with emotion and not logic. So I really want people to start thinking with logic in relationships. That means your parents, that means your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your sisters, your siblings. Every time you are in a relationship, meaning talking to somebody, a friend, a partner, a family member, that is a form of relationship. So whatever you put into it, you have to expect to get something out of it. And sometimes that's just shit. And I will say this, other than that, Harlem was that nigga. That was my bro. That was my friend. We talked all the time. And, he was good people. I think that as soon as he is able to handle and get a grip on his emotions and learn how to speak with conviction, but with honesty and without threats and without trying to violate someone in order to get a reaction, that he will be in his best version of himself, because he truly was a king. Trans man or not, that boy was a king. He was a man of his word, but also he had some growing to do. And those growing pains, unfortunately, I wasn't able to stick around for, because I think we would have still been great friends to this day. He was supposed to host my wedding, and I think that I know this about me, and I like even Moses could tell you, or Sam. Anytime they have called me and asked for advice or tried to have a conversation with me about something they go through, I'll always give them an example of what I would do, but I'll always say at the end of that sentence, like, hey, make sure you do whatever that is that makes you happy and you feel good about it. Because ultimately what I would do may not work for you, and that's okay. You sometimes have to find that version for yourself. I could give you an example and you still have to find that version. But sometimes I can give you the example and you can follow that as well. But what it comes back to is it's up to you. People have to stop always trying to control situations that they can't control. You have to sometimes just let your friend do what they're going to do and accept it. And even if you don't like it, move on. You don't have to be all up in it. It's your friend. It's not your family member. It's not it can be a friend that you treat like a family member. It could be your best friend, but ultimately you have to remember you are not in control of what people do. They're in control. Like there was a situation where Moses came down here to visit one summer. I think it was when we did my mom's birthday. Yeah, we did my mom's birthday party here at the house, and we did a big birthday party. Moses had, got lit, and then he wanted to go out and do his thing. He wanted to get out on the town. We went out. We went to a gay bar. We hung out. We went to another place. We chilled. We laughed. We came back. Me and Harlem was listening to beats. My man went in the room and went to sleep. I was like, yo, I'm gonna wait up until Moses get back. It's after 3 a.m. Moses sat up here and was, I don't know what Moses was doing, but he was doing something with somebody. And he's texting me talking about, oh, why did you leave me? Why did you leave me? I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? I didn't leave you, bro. I said, we went back to the house and then you went out to go do what you do. And he was like, oh, I don't know where I am. So mind you, I had his GPS. He had put his GPS on and sent me his location. So I found him. I pulled up to the Circle K. I'm like, yo, Moses, get out the car. Get in the car. Dude that he was with was some, that's what I'll say. And whatever the situation may be, then he was like, he wasn't trying to let Moses go. Moses is a little dude. He like 5'2", maybe 110 pounds. He a little guy. And I'm like very protective of him because I know sometimes because of his size, people will take advantage of him physically. So I was like, yo, you fucked up. And he's texting me talking about I blacked out. I don't remember anything. And that's when I got worried. Mind you, Harlem is here with me. Harlem was a real one. He pulled up like, yo, let's go. I'm like, nah, I got it. I'm going to go get my friend by myself. He was like, nah, man, get in the car. We going to go get him together. You ain't going to be out there on your own. I would hate if something happened. And in that moment, like I said, we was all drinking, having a good time. We had partied. And I'm like, not thinking logically. So I'm like, yo, get the strap. But I left my strap on the table. I was so pissed. And all my shit is legal. But I was like, yo, I can't even I said, damn, I left it at the house. And my friend was like, oh, I got one right there in the glove compartment. Like, Harlem really was that friend that even if it wasn't his friend, because it was my friend, he was coming. That's the type of shit he was on. That's what I respected and liked about him, is that it wasn't even about it being his friend. It was a simple fact that it was my friend and they were in a situation and he wanted to look out for me. And he wanted to make sure that I was good and safe and that nothing transpired that could put my life in danger or anybody else's that I cared about. And I will say this, shout outs to Harlem for being in my life for the short time he was. I really feel like there was potential for us to be lifelong friends. But at the same time, you have to remember, everybody can't be with you for the rest of your life. And sometimes people have to go their own way to find out who they are or find out what fits them. And, maybe who he is then, he may not be that person now, or he may still be. It's not my responsibility to cater to his feelings. My responsibility was just to be a good friend and be loyal. Never did I disrespect him or do anything disloyal. He was very upfront with me and honest, even about him being transgender. We would be at work and people would harass him about him being transgender and stuff like that. But half of the dudes at the job would act tough and was DL anyway, trying to holler at me or holler at other gay guys that I knew. It's like they was moving weird. And he would be like, see, they talking shit about me being transgender, but look how they moving. And I used to be like, yeah, man. I said, they was coming up asking me, oh, is he transgender? And you know what I would say, y'all? I'd be like, yo, go ask him. Why you asking me? That's not my body. Go ask him. If you feel comfortable enough to ask, go ask him. Don't ask me. And they would be like, all right. They would never ask him. But you know what? Ultimately, he went through a lot in life, and I think he definitely had a lot of personal situations that made him the way he is. And I would never get into that on this platform and say what those things were, but he made me privy to them. And I just hope Harlem is doing well. So this episode is called Dear Friend because I just wanted to let people know that you could be a good friend, but don't be controlling. Don't be that person that makes your friend feel closed off and like they can't meet nobody else or they can't explore other friendships. Because if somebody really your friend, they're not going nowhere, but you got to also give them the respect to make decisions on their own. You're not responsible for people's heart. And I always tell people that you're responsible to protect your heart. You're responsible to protect yourself. And if you find people along the way that want to walk in that faith of life with you, that's a blessing. So I want y'all to always remember it's one love. This is No Love Lost 2.0. You can follow this episode is going to be on our YouTube page, which is No Love Lost 24. You definitely can get that on there as well as Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I am working on Amazon as well to get some stuff up there as well, as far as the podcast. And then also we have an Instagram. It is No Love Lost _podcast_. That's NOLOVELOST _podcast_. And we also are on TikTok, as long as it's on, because President Trump used it as a ploy to sit here and get people to actually listen to his campaign. So he did what he did, and now people are definitely paying attention. So you could also get that on No Love Lost Pod. That's on TikTok, and this is One Love. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and keep sharing this channel. You always will be appreciated. Zafir, one.